guidance of fourth-year head coach Randy Hatlin, the 1997 Lemira Lions embarked on a journey starting against Ozaukee on the same Camp Randall turf that all high school football teams strive to end their seasons. The Lions offense inaugurated the season with a 10-play, 40-yard drive capped by Dave Westfall's 3-yard run.
Dave Westfall for the touchdown.
Lemira's emphasis on special teams for '97 began unraveling the results with a first quarter Tim Schomburg block punt and Justin Meisenheimer's end zone recovery. Lion defense strangled Ozaukee's offensive surge, led by Dave Westfall, with 6 solo and 12 tackles overall. Without the Warriors' 70 yards gained on their final drive, Lemira's adamant defense held Ozaukee to just 33 total yards. The Lemira offense compiled 298 yards in offense. Tim Faber gained the 75 yards rushing on his only carry in the third quarter in a runaway opening day triumph. Tim Schomburg added a final game to his 100-yard game streak. He boosted his total to 16 with 19 carries for 145 yards as he ground down the Warriors and the clock. In week 2, Lemira continued its dominance as the offense summoned 28 unanswered first-half points against Ripon. While Lucas Beversdorf was busy collecting his season-high 88 yards receiving and a touchdown, Lemira's defense was belittling the Tiger offense, allowing only 85 total yards. Lee Drykosen shored up the special teams with their second blocked punt in as many games. Justin Unertl snagged 1 of 3 interceptions and 5 turnovers forced by the Lion defense. Lemira gained 149 yards on the ground, and Schomburg added 2 touchdowns. Westfall's fumble recovery set up the final score in a contest that Pete Giese threw for 151 yards and 3 touchdowns. With Horicon visiting the Lions' Den for their conference opener in Week 3, the defense showed no signs of diminishing. Lee Drykosen picked off 1 of 4 turnovers created by Lemira. It was a long night for the Marshmen as Tim Faber recorded 9 of his 48 tackles and Justin Meisenheimer recorded 8 tackles and 1 of his 6 sacks on the season. The fiercest Lion of them all, Dave Westfall, showed his iron will by simply shaking off a rather painful injury and recording 10 tackles to guide a defense that held Horicon to 134 yards of offense. Beversdorf caught 1 ball for a 60-yard gain before Schaumburg finished off Lemira's first drive from 2 yards out. Easy blistered the Marshman secondary for 134 yards. Steve Wagner was on the receiving end of all 3 of his catches for 58 yards during Lemira's second scoring drive that climaxed with 1 of his 5 touchdown catches in 1997. Schaumburg gained 112 yards rushing, and Westfall added 28 to a Lion offense that ran up 297 total yards, while Schaumburg frequented the end zone on 4 occasions. Meisenheimer hunted down the special team's 3rd blocked punt in as many games. Lions continued to move the ball with ease against a worn down and victimized Horicon defense. Horicon couldn't even win the war on words. The play, preceded by the name-calling directed at Ken Burks, resulted in a Ken Burks fumble recovery and Schaumburg's 4th touchdown. In Week 4 against Markazan, Lemira continued their offensive zeal as Lucas Beversdorf went all out on his only catch for 40 yards and put Lemira out in front 10-0 with his 21-yard touchdown in the first quarter. Lemira found themselves pinned deep in their own territory for the remainder of the first half due to 3 miscues. With Lemira's backs against the wall, The defense put together one of the more impressive showings on the season. Mike Hall and Schaumburg logged 13 tackle points, while Wagner recorded 15 to lead the defense that stepped it up for their fallen comrade Westfall. Elmira's last fumble in the second quarter was merely too much for the defense to overcome, resulting in a 14-10 Hornet lead as Elmira surrendered the lead for the first time in 97 to close out the first half. The Elmira faithful witnessed the second half surge as Pete Giese caught fire and scorched the Hornet secondary for 186 yards and hooked up with Glenn Burks for a 68-yard touchdown. Burks had 3 grabs for 103 yards on the night.
You gotta talk, guys! You gotta talk!
The secondary of Wagner, Faber, Meisenheimer refused to let J.G. Bradley mount a comeback, tallying 5 passes defended. A relentless pass rush forced 3 of their 6 sacks on the night in the second half, spelling the beginning of the end for the Hornets. Schaumburg gained 120 rushing yards of the 350 total yards registered by the offense. Faber solidified the impressive victory with an interception, improving the Lions to 4-0. In Week 6, Justin Meisenheimer may have donned another jersey, but his malicious execution to the football remained unaltered. Justin had a hand in 3 of the 4 decisive plays that would shape their contest between Powerhouse and defending conference champion Mayville. With the Lion offense sputtering for a mere 28 yards in the first half, Meisenheimer committed the grandest of looting from Mayville's Ben Ryder and stole the show, running 55 yards for Lemira's first score with 2:04 left in the half. Under 40 seconds remaining in the half, Mayville tried to pass forward and fell clearly short of the first down. The mark still prompted the Mayville fans to blame the line judge. Meisenheimer numbed Mayville again by bolting through the line to block Mayville's punt, with Faber escorting the pigskin to the end zone. The score suddenly vaulted Lemira to a 14-7 lead as time ran out in the half. Lemira continued to lead the Cards to the rope for the first time since 1984 in the second half. After a Mayville score, Jeremy Disler held the lead for the Lions with a blocked kick attempt. The offense ran to life as Schaumburg, who gained 80 on the night, put the Lions up 21-13 in the third quarter. Mayville fans were not used to seeing their players knocked around and had to be reminded that they were not taking in a tennis match, but they were witnessing a changing of the guard in the flyway. The Lion defense reared its teeth and put the clamps on a Mayville drive by clearly stopping a pass play short of the end zone to Mayville's dismay. Westfall then stripped the ball. Schaumburg recovered to turn back the Cards. Westfall snagged an interception to set up Lemira's final points as Glenn Burke split the uprights from 31 yards out. Mayville pulled within 3, but the Lions would not let the ball slip away on this triumphant night.
Watch for onside. Lines 1, 2, 3, 4.
With first place on the line in Week 7 against Laconia, the defense battled a high-powered Spartan running game and completely shut down the passing game that rendered 0 yards. Wagner grabbed one of his team-high 6 interceptions. Wagner also stepped in to help the stalled offense, as Lucas Beversdorf provided the charge Lomira needed by gathering 54 of his game-high 94 yards and putting Lomira on the board first. Laconia answered back with a pair of touchdowns before the defense settled back into a drive-stopping mode. The Lion offense would give up 2 more points on a questionable safety call.
No, the penalty enforcement, that is not a but it's not a that's a
Trailing 15-7 as the fourth quarter began, Lomira added more thrills to an already stimulating season as Geezy returned as quarterback to lead the Lions to victory. Schomburg pounded his way through the Spartan defense for 70 yards and capped off a Lions scoring drive with a 1-yard run. Lomira's 2-point conversion tied the game. And on the ensuing kickoff, Tim Faber would provide the Lions with another turnover. The Lion offense collected some of its 225 total yards and capitalized on the second turnover with a 22-yard field goal by Burks for the lead. With under 2 minutes remaining, the Spartans scrambled for one last shot at the win, but Wagner sealed Lomira's coveted move into first place.
Yes, I'm the only one would carry on this far. The peace is dead in my soul. I have played reasons for my attention. Yes, I'm the one, the only one who would carry on this.
Hey, I got mine. Let's get the big. Coach, you got Glenn? I got mine. All right.
Week 8, Lemira traveled to Wautoma, who had witnessed the Lions rip through their defense for 308 total yards, including Schomburg's rushing performance that saw him run the distance of the field 2.5 times and score 3 of his 14 touchdowns. The defense was equally ruthless to the Hornet offense as they pulverized them by allowing just 69 total yards.
Can never be not sure. Can never lose my share. Can never be separated.
Finished off the route with a fumble recovery for a touchdown, as Lemira was 1 win away from a conference title.
Fumble, touchdown, Here we go. Line, 1, 2, 3, fire!
Westfall led the team in tackle points with 138 in 1997 and helped the defense that held its opponents to 122 total yards in their regular season finale against North Fond du Lac. The defensive front of Grantman, Nate Wiedmeyer, Jeremy Disler, Justin Meisenheimer, Burks, and Lee Drykosen held the Orioles in check while Wagner put the Lion offense on the field. Easy sheared the Orioles secondary for 150 yards. That included a 39-yard touchdown to Burks. Schaumburg ran for 1,082 yards in 1997 and was complemented with Giesi's passing game that produced 1,202 yards. Beversdorf gained 314 yards via the ground and 669 all-purpose yards, and with the offense clicking on all cylinders, Schaumburg capped the second quarter drive with a 3-yard touchdown. North Fond du Lac was hoping for their first playoff berth since 1990, but they didn't have a prayer against Lemira's crunching defense that included one of 3 picks for Beversdorf in 1997. Lucas's interception set up a Burks 25-yard field goal that finished the scoring in a shutout victory that sealed Randy Hatlin's first conference title and Lemira's first title since 1984.
They had 100 yards offense. Okay? I doubt they had 100 yards offense. We just went up and down the field. And we did outstanding. You got seniors. I am proud of you. I am proud of you. Hey, this is what it's all about. We're the number 1 seed out of the flyweight conference. Look, we did the formula head to head. We're the number 1 seed out of the flyweight conference, gentlemen. And gentlemen, hey, I'm just so incredibly proud of what you've accomplished tonight. This is a 2-year thing. This isn't a gosh darn, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. This is 2 years running. We built the foundation last year and we took it through the door this year. I am very proud of each and every one of you. Whatever you do, don't do anything stupid. Okay? And guys, we can take laps with hours because there's no practice tomorrow. Practice Friday after school. Congratulations.
In their round 1 playoff matchup with St. Francis, Lemira's appetizing defensive hunger feasted on All-State running back John Ray as they held the Mariners to 111 rushing yards and 161 total yards. Giesi answered the Mariners' touchdown with a strike to Wagner, who gained 100 yards and 1 touchdown. Eisenheimer's recovery led to the Lions' second scoring drive that was crowned with a game-tying touchdown by Westfall. The Lion defense never let up as they wore down St. Francis while dicing their confidence. With the game knotted at 14, Giese threw for some of his 200 yards passing when he hit Tim Faber for the winning score. Westfall locked up Lemira's playoff triumph with one of his 3 sacks on the season to send the Lions to round 2.
Get us a breakdown.
The Lions ran into Columbus, and for the second straight year, the Cards knocked them out of the playoffs. Despite Lemira's untimely exit from the playoffs, the Lions had completed another prosperous season. They had conquered powerhouse Mayville for the first time in 13 years, defeated Laconia in their 3rd comeback triumph, won their 3rd playoff game in school history, and won their first conference title since 1984. 1997 was a season filled with individual accomplishments, but overshadowed by a team that worked toward their goal of a championship.